bump each other up.
Well, it's all very tense. At least they've stopped yelling. Half of them are gone. Now it's just the oldies and police.
I make all of this for what? It's wasted.
Don't worry, Franco. We'll eat well tonight after hours. Oh, and you'll never guess what I overheard. I overheard Lady G's friends talking about Kitty. And apparently the reason why Lord and Lady Muck took her in was because he killed her old dad by experimenting on her. Can you believe it?
See, this is what I was saying before. Lord Grantham, he used to command her for children. And one day he told me everything. Poor little kitty. She left all alone. And you saw me.
Well, I didn't know, did I? Does she know what you did?
I didn't mean to tell her. It just came. Well, she's such a good girl and she takes it so well. She forgives her ship and saves us night.
Well, I must say, she's taking it all rather well. I don't think I'd be able to be around a family who had managed to kill my dad. But anyway, I better go and serve. Franco! Oh, Franco! You have to help me!
Catherine, thank you. Delicious, and such a jolly evening, given the circumstances, of course. It's such a pity your children didn't attend. Don't worry, dear. I think we'll all flow over tomorrow morning. Thank you. I really am worn out with all the upset.
Then we shall leave you to go to bed. Mitchell, don't keep Catherine chattering. She needs her rest. Good night.
Good night. We shall retire too. Yes, we have a long night ahead of us. Oh, I meant a long night's sleep ahead of us. Yes, a lot of sleeping to do. Yes, well, good night. Indeed, good night.
Keep an eye out for any suspicious going on. I have a feeling none of us will get much sleep.
Yes, sir.
Good night, Barnaby. See you bright and early.
They're dead! The bastards! The minions are dead! Alarm! Alarm!
When were they discovered?
First thing this morning, sir. The maid was taking breakfast to her ladyship, and she found them both dead in the morning room.
What were they doing there in the middle of the night?
Apparently they were meditating. Miss Miranda says they told her the room has positive energy.
Load of old rubbish. Professor, what can you tell us?
They've been dead around 5 hours now. Discovered at 7 a.m. sharp. That puts the time of the death at around 2:30 a.m.
They've clearly been stabbed. What else?
Yes, it's all rather odd. They've been stabbed just once each with some force. They're wearing the same clothes as they were last night, yet the bodies were discovered with these.
What's this? Clown wigs and jewels?
Her ladyship can confirm that the safe has been broken into and all the family jewels have been stolen. However, only a few of them are here. The rest are missing, and that's not all.
This is the latest press coverage on our con. Why would this be with the ball? No, they can't be.
It appears your elusive con artists have met a very grisly end, Barnaby. At least that's one case all day.
Can't believe it. They certainly fit the modus operandi, dressed up in elaborate costumes and posing as mediums. Well, I don't know, Felicity. It seems too neat. And who would have known about them, and why would they have killed them?
That I can't answer yet. Maybe they were disturbed last night and in self-defense stabbed them.
Then why not raise the alarm?
Too scared, perhaps?
Oh, Felicity, I have a feeling there's more to this than meets the eye. Run every test you can on the body. You need to know every detail, however small. Leave nothing out of your report.
Of course. One last thing. It seems as though everyone who ate the main course of dinner last night has been violently ill during the night. We are fine, as are Jeremy, Miranda, Kitty, and the servants. The rest have suffered badly. It may be food poisoning or something more sinister.
I may take myself downstairs and have a little word with our chef. Oh, let me know what you find.
Goodness only knows what you fed that lot last night, Franco. But I've had to change all the beds, scrub all the floors, and clean all the bedpans. They're all sick.
fall into the food. Oh, policeman, you must have had some stupid chef right away before I comment anybody else. You're admitting to poisoning everybody within a mile of you?
Yes, I must have poisoned myself too. I am such a stupid chef.
Hang on, you're saying you poisoned Lord Grantham with rat poison?
That's right. Your mystery is solved. You have look no further. You have found your killer.
Isn't this a little quick? Yesterday you were telling me how careful you are with this stuff. And now you're admitting to poisoning everybody within a mile of you?
It's true.
No. I don't do meat, I don't like meat, and I don't like people trying to make me out of food. Franco, you're coming with me. I need to have a little talk with Lady Grantham's companion. There's also a question mark over a train ticket. A certain young miss who was not where she said she was. And my very clever professor has also unearthed 2 birth certificates, which may shed light on a lot of what this family are trying to hide. After all, I think we better have a gathering.
Catherine here, how are you feeling? Dreadful. I can only apologize that Chef seems to have single-handedly felled us one and all.
Oh, it's not your fault. Don't be concerned.
I shall never be able to host another gathering again. I shall forever be known within polite
Why have we been asked to gather here anyways? We should do that.
The inspector believes he has conclusive evidence as to whom he believes killed my husband, carried out last night's robbery, and who killed those poor girls. Bless Miranda, she's racked with guilt over their deaths. She says that if she hadn't invited them, they'd still be alive.
But I thought it was the mediums who carried out the robbery. Didn't the police find evidence on them?
Apparently not. I overheard the professor say it was planted.
Oh, how interesting.
Indeed, it's all very interesting. Please take a seat, everyone. The inspector will be along any moment. Professor!
I and my family feel dreadful. Must we go through this now?
I'm afraid so, ma'am.
Daddy, I'll go back to bed.
If I'm sick here, it'll be your fault.
Oh, good. Everyone's arrived. Thank you all for taking the time to come be here. More than many of you are feeling worse for wear, something our chef here can apologize for later. However, before we get to why he decided to do that, we must first go back to the very beginning.
To the night before Daddy died? Oh, no, miss. It goes back much further than that. Over 20 years, in fact.
I'm feeling ill.
Family reminder. Sit down, please, ma'am. But sit down.
Oh, Lord. Catherine. When we arrived here to investigate Lord Grantham's death, her ladyship gave us free run of the house, obviously desirous that we find her husband's killer.
She clearly thought her search would be limited to bloodstains and poisoned glasses. However, our search went far wider than that. We soon began to unravel the Grantham family secrets.
What family secrets? We haven't any.
On the contrary, let us present you with the evidence.
We found 2 original birth certificates, both from just over 20 years ago. Lord Grantham, when is your birthday, please?
Me? June 12th. Why?
This is the date we found on both of these birth certificates.
So I have 2 of them? Mother?
No, sir. The second certificate is the name of a baby girl, Evadne Wilde.
And my birthday is on June 12th, too. But my name is Evadne Price. Mother?
Oh, I'm so sorry, honey.
Well, as most of you will know, both sisters were called Wilde before they were married, even though Lady Grantham married over 2 years before both children were born.
So both children were born on the very same day? 2 sisters. What a coincidence.
And only 3 minutes apart.
So I was born out of wedlock? Oh, Mother. Oh, the shame.
No, darling, you weren't.
Lady Grantham, Miss Price, would you care to explain?
You should have a legal name change attached to that. From Wilde to Price.
We do, ma'am. 10 days after she was born, on the same day you married your husband here.
Right. Catherine?
Very well. Mr. Price here is not Mabel's first husband. She was such a sweet girl, and we were so close as children. She married a charming young man when she was just 17, and although they were very young, they were so in love that our family supported them wholeheartedly.
Tragically, after just 9 months, we were both struck down with scarlet fever. I survived, but my darling Daniel didn't. be able to have children.
The loss twisted her and made her bitter. And a year later, when I had Miranda, I thought she was going to kill me. But my husband, who was always very fond of Mabel, persuaded me that if we ever had another daughter, we would let Mabel adopt her in the hopes that it would make her happy. And so when I gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl, it seemed perfect.
So Evadne and I are twins?
Oh my, I knew there was something. I just couldn't explain it. You gave me up?
But it didn't make her happy, did it? She took on Mr. Price's nieces, and still she wasn't happy. What you didn't understand was how unhappy giving up your daughter would make you. I've seen your diaries, Lady Grantham.
I never got over my loss and never quite forgave my husband for talking me into it. And my relationship with my sister was never the same again.
So is that why you murdered him?
No, I didn't. I would never.
Sit down, Lady Grantham. Your story is not finished. So, Mr. and Mrs. Price, why are you really here?
To visit my family, of course.
Mr. Simpson, could you please explain what you are doing here?
Hey, I paid you good money to keep your mouth shut.
The prospect of avoiding prison is much more appealing, sir. Mr. Simpson.
I've been put here to spy on the family. Mr. and Mrs. Price here knew about his lordship's experiments all those years ago, and decided to try and blackmail him. He and his wife are destitute, despite the fact that he likes to flash the cash.
We lost nearly everything, the oil that was never there. And when it was found nearly 300 miles away, we had no more money left.
You mean we're poor? Oh my!
Oh, Mom, our friend said.
To be fair, the money you did have was ill-gotten in the first place, so I don't think anyone has much sympathy.
Easy come, easy go.
And you, Cynthia, such a promising young woman, but so greedy. You were caught taking bribes from criminals and kicked out of police again. Now we're looking at a two-bit private detective taking whatever work you can get.
I have to eat.
So, how much did Mr. Price pay you to murder Lord Grant?
No, wait! I would never!
Hey, no way.
Quiet, sit down, the pair of you.
Experiments? I don't understand. Why do you think you could blackmail Daddy?
All in good time, miss. There's a lot to cover before we get to that.
Nancy, why do you so hold such animosity towards Miss Kitty?
I don't know what you mean, sir. I hold nothing toward her whatsoever. Good old that.
Oh, come now. You've been heard to put her down at every given opportunity. What has such a sweet girl done to deserve such a treatment?
It's true. We can't stand her, and neither can you.
She's jealous. That's it. Jealous that they were equals and then Kitty got spoiled by Mother.
Well, wouldn't you be? What makes her so much better than me, eh? I could have been a fine young lady given a chance. But no, I get left on the scrappy, just like my old mum.
Oh, you a young lady? Oh, how funny. Jeremy, could you imagine our scruffy little Nancy trying to fit in at Brampton Ladies' College?
And it was just this kind of ill treatment that caused such hatred towards this family. Is that why you secreted the poison into this house? We found the receipt from the apothecary in the village, the same supplier Lord Grantham. And in your position, you would have access to virtually every item from the house, including his brandy.
No, it wasn't me. He asked me to go get the poison. I don't know what happened to it after that. Though I do know he was upset some of it went missing. He said he couldn't complete his experiment without it.
And it's just a coincidence that you, Boston handled it, hated the family for their treatment of you, but you had nothing to do with his demise.
And Franco, you have a lot to do. You admitting to poisoning an entire house, and then suddenly to the death of Lord Grant. After so many careful years, why make such a mistake? And why so ready to admit your guilt?
I am a good person. I made a mistake. You can't be the Carla.
Oh, you don't think poisoning is a hanging offense?
Oh no, you can't. It was an accident. It wasn't Franco's fault.
If it was an accident, he's in serious trouble if he deliberately poisoned anyone.
Oh, now we need to move on to the deaths of our mediums. Why would someone want them dead?
I'm sure you all heard of high-profile con artist Barnaby here has been chasing. They target the rich and famous, and so far they've had the police over a barrel.
Yes, thank you, Felicity.
There's every indication that our two mediums were also our con artists. We found previous known disguises and other evidence on them. Elaborate costume seems to be their signature, so to pose as mediums is logical.
However, we know enough about these two to be able to trace where they were during most of the other robberies. Mistress Fanula kept a detailed account of all their bookings going back years, and during 3 of the 7 robberies, they were within 100 miles.
So although it seems they were a con artist, they can't be.
So that means someone must have framed them and then murdered them.
Exactly.
But who?
Miss Price, you were heard to have words with the ladies last night. We now know that you were trying to keep your secret under wraps. Did you feel threatened by them, perhaps? We know that your plan to blackmail Lord Grantham was under threat as he was dead. Did you and your husband steal the family jewels, then kill the 2 ladies to stop them from spilling the beans?
Don't be ridiculous. They didn't know anything. They were frauds.
You seemed very worried last night, ma'am. And you, Lady Grantham, you had just as much reason to keep them quiet. Did you speak in the dead of the night and kill them? If indeed you killed your husband, then disposing of these 2 would hardly be a problem. Or perhaps you plotted this together.
The justice of Catherine is beyond credible inspection.
Ah, yes, gentlemen, I was getting to you. You've known Lady Grantham since you were children, is that right?
Yes.
And the ladies Morgan Smith, you've known the family for exactly 5 years.
What?
I'm looking for a pair. We now know that our mediums were not our con artists. We know that our con artists are still within the room.
Are you suggesting it, Gus? How dare you?
Well, I really don't know what to say. Really, Inspector.
5 years, 5 long years I've been searching. Then they suddenly turn up right under my nose. But which ones? The trusted friend? Or those who suddenly turn up looking for a way into polite society? I think it's obvious, don't you? You just didn't expect me to be here investigating a death, did you? Lord Brantham's demise is not part of your plan. The usual trick in securing an invitation to a large party. Posing as something you're not worth to a degree. It was supposed to be a dinner dance, was it not? Who would have noticed you sneaking off with the family jewels until it was too late? And then Lord Grantham is murdered. But you still managed to persuade Lady Grantham to have you here. How heartless. You still plan to rob her, even though she'd lost her husband.
Which is why you murdered the 2 mediums and made away with the fortune. If we thought they were dead, we'd look no further, case closed. And then you'd be free to go on your merry way and continue your trickery elsewhere.
No, look. God is bank's right, but we didn't bump those 2 off. We're tricksters, not murderers. We broke into the safe, and on our way back at first light, we came upon the 2 mediums, stabbed to death. We didn't know what to do, so Cecilia, here, it was your idea. Cecilia said we should plant a few jewels and lay our disguises on them. Then we could get away and start again like. Things were harding up. He nearly caught his place, so if he felt we were dead.
So if you 2 didn't kill them for your own ends, then who did?
And here we have it. Joe, can you please hand me the evidence? Here we have a little ring, but it tells us so much. We have 2 poisonings, both deliberate, but both by 2 separate people. Frank, you say you're responsible for both?
That's right. All my fault.
You knew about the experiment Lord Grantham carried out all those years ago.
Inspector, please. Not everyone knows. Please don't upset her.
My lady, Kitty knows everything. Isn't that right, Franco?
I didn't mean to judge her. It just came out. But she's such a good girl, and she take it so well. She forgive his clerkship and say it was an accident.
Yeah, such a sweet and good girl. A real credit to her parents and to you, my lady.
Oh, Kitty, I did what I could for you. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, Aunt Catherine. It was nobody's fault.
Except it was someone's fault, wasn't it, Kitty? We found Lord Grantham's diaries in your personal possession. Simmons responded very badly to the treatment today. He really did kick up an awful fuss, stupid man. Doesn't he realize how important my work is? The sacrifice is well worth the thing. Not that it's much of a sacrifice at his age. He's not much use to the household anyway. He treated your father no better than a lad rat, didn't he? And you found this out and plotted your revenge.
Kitty, what have you done?
No, this isn't possible. Kitty was nowhere near the house the night that he was poisoned. She was 300 miles away at school.
No, my lady, she wasn't. She was on a field trip, remember, just 50 miles away. We had spoken to her teachers, and there was one night she did not dine with the other girls. She said she was unwell and went to bed. No one checked on her for over 16 hours, giving her enough time to get here and back before she was missed.
And here we have a train ticket to proof. We know everything, miss. So why don't you tell us in your own words?
I tell you, listen to me.
Franco, stop! I won't let you hang. You're right, of course. It was me. I never knew why Mom and Dad made me go off and live in the big house. I begged Mom to take me back. It was Jeremy and Miranda were so mean to me. But she wouldn't even look at me. Now I know why. Franco said I reminded her too much of Dad. She kept telling me to make the most of what I'd been given, so that no one could ever think that they were better than me or take advantage. Now I know what she meant. Last year, when Mom passed away, Frank was upset and told me what Uncle Harold did to Dad.
What about the poison? How'd you get that?
Mom knew the apothecary really well, as she used to get the poisons for Uncle Harold. So I soon found out that he was experimenting again. I was afraid that'd be Nancy this time, as there aren't many servants left. So, during my last visit, I stole some of the poison she had got for him and kept it, waiting for my opportunity.
So the field trip was perfect then.
You left it around just after 10 and arrived, and Lord Grantham died at around midnight.
Yes, I walked through the fields from the station so as not to be seen, and sneaked into his study.
And there you laced his brandy glass with his own poison.
I can't believe it. You killed Father. I hope they hang you.
Kitty, you're trying to protect me? You or whoever else's next victim would have been. And I've been so awful to you. I thought you turned your nose up at me. Never. You're my only friend.
I can't believe Father would do that. Is that why you're trying to blackmail him and take everything out from under us? Because you discovered what he'd done?
What a charming family. I'm not American, I'm English. I'm not hers, I'm yours. What do we all do now?
I want to go home. Daddy, can we leave now?
But what about those two mediums? If it wasn't those two fraudsters, who did it and why?
They were so good. Miranda chose them well. I could tell they knew what I'd done. They could see right inside me.
The baby across the water. That's you, Bunny.
And that's why Mother got so cross with them. They knew.
So sweet little Kitty murdered them in cold blood too? How awful.
I panicked. I ran to Franco, and he said if he made everyone sick with little rat poison, that he could convince that he had murdered Uncle Harold by accident. That made sense, and he was willing to take the blame for me. But later that night, I heard the mediums meditating. They knew everything, and were preparing to reveal the truth the next morning. I couldn't let that happen.
You really are evil, Kitty. Those poor women didn't deserve that.
No, not evil, just abandoned by all of us, except Franco. Maybe if we'd all been a little nice to her, she wouldn't have turned out like this.
There's no excuse for murder, dear. Poor child.
So here we have it. A girl driven by revenge. A family tearing themselves apart over their twisted secrets. Lives ruined. Innocent bystanders killed. All for what? Do you think this is what your parents would have wanted from you, miss?
Oh, Kitty, we did what we could for you, to give you every chance in life. You could have been anything, and yet you chose to become a murderer. Just like poor Uncle Harold, then. It appears that we are equal, after all.